Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alicia and thank you so much for being here. In today's reading vlog, our little read with me, I'm reading the third Harry Potter book. They are all free on Kindle Unlimited if you're in the States. I read the first one in January and then the second one in February. And now here we are, March 2024. Let's read the third one. This one is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I guess the prisoner is Sirius Black, and he has escaped. And right before he escaped, the guards heard him mumbling in his sleep, "He's at Hogwarts, he's at Hogwarts." So now the Hogwarts school has all the guards surrounding it because Harry Potter is there and there is a connection. Also, it said that there might be a traitor in their midst. So I'm sure there's going to be some sort of twist and turn, and someone will probably end up trying to go against Harry Potter, but let's get into it. Also, I always give out stats before I start most of my videos. Sometimes I do it at the end, but this has over 4.2 million reviews between Amazon and Goodreads, and the star rating is between a 4.6 and a 4.9. So very highly rated. I did rate the first two books 5 stars. Also, after I read each book, my husband and I watch the movie because he's read the books multiple times and he's watched the movies multiple times, and I never have. So this has been a nice little treat for me, and I'm not intentionally trying to only read one Harry Potter book a month. I know there's 7 of them. That wasn't the intent. It's just kind of worked out that way. I would like to read more, but I also like my romance books and my psychological thrillers, but let's just jump right in and see where we go. Witch burning in the 14th century was completely pointless. Please discuss. I keep trying to film this clip, but my sweet little boy cat keeps meowing at me. This book, it's just so cute. So you can't live at Hogwarts during the summer, so everyone has to go home. Well, poor little Harry Potter doesn't have a mom or a dad. They're deceased. So he lives with his aunt, uncle, and cousin, and they're wretched towards him. And they locked up all of his belongings from Hogwarts, his wand, his broomstick, all of his books. And so when they were outside, he picked the lock and grabbed as many books as he could because he has summer homework. He has to do assignments that are due whenever he goes back to school in September. And his owl, the uncle, is finally letting him take the owl out at night because Hedwig, she will go crazy in her cage if you leave her in there for too long. And so Harry hasn't seen her in a couple of days. She's just been, I don't know, out and about doing her owl thing. Well, now 3 owls have come in through his window, and one is from Hogwarts, delivering his Hogwarts letter. One is from Harry's owl, dropping off a letter, and then one is from Errol. Remember the Weasleys? Oh, I love the Weasleys. So one is from them, and it's just a letter with a photo because their dad, I guess Arthur Weasley, he won a drawing at work and got a lot of money, 700 galleons, I think is what it's called. And so they used it to take a summer vacation to Egypt to see the oldest son. And Harry's looking at the photo and they're all waving at him, and Ron wrote him like the sweetest little letter, and he was also apologizing because Ron tried to call Harry over the summer. He tried to call him a couple of weeks ago because Ron didn't know how to use a muggle telephone, and so he wanted to try it out, and he was screaming into the phone asking for Harry, and Harry's uncle answered and was screaming back at Ron saying, "Never call this number again, and I want you to have nothing to do with my family." But this boy, I was reading Percy Becoming Head Boy, but this book is just, it's so cute. It's so cute. I love all of the little gadgets that I get to read about in these Harry Potter books. So Harry just turned 13. His birthday is always in the summer, which just makes me feel bad. But I think Harry likes it only because anytime it's his birthday, he knows school is just about to start. So if it's his birthday, that means he's about to get to leave the Dursleys' house. So Ron sent him a birthday present, and it is a pocket sneakoscope. And if someone around you is being untrustworthy, it will light up and spin. I love all of these. Okay, so the other letter that Harry got is from Hermione, and she is spending the summer in France with her parents. So the Weasleys are in Egypt, the Grangers are in France. Did y'all travel like this when y'all were preteens and teenagers? I never got to travel like that with my family. We were either in daycare over the summer or we were just at home while my mom was at work. I didn't even get on my first plane until I was 21. Is this, I guess this is normal, but these kids are they're so well-rounded. They're so cultured. Okay, I'm just making a little breakfast for lunch. I made a little lox thing going on here. I've got bread, some Kraft cheese, salmon, and 2 fried eggs with some crushed red pepper on it. And then I've got a protein yogurt and a sparkling water. Harry, his Aunt Marge is so awful. They're so mean to him. His whole family, I say his whole family, these 4 people, they're just so awful to him. But his Aunt Marge is just being so mean and just speaking so condescendingly and just pretty much acting as if Harry isn't even at the table with them. And so she's drinking her glass of wine and he just made it explode in her face. I have never heard anyone talk about this one paragraph. Granted, we're in the beginning of the book, so it doesn't really matter. Everything that's going to happen is going to happen at school, but his Aunt Marge has 12 bulldogs. She's a bulldog breeder, but she has 12 that are just hers that she keeps. And she's just speaking ill about Harry yet again and just saying that he's, weak and he'll amount to nothing. And then she says, it's the same way with dogs. I had Colonel Fubster, who I guess is her neighbor. I had the Colonel drown one of my dogs last year. Ratty little thing. It was weak, underbred. I've never heard anyone talk about that. She drowned a dog, a puppy. She drowned a puppy last year. Okay. Okay, so that chapter ended with Harry running away. He got so mad at his Aunt Marge and his Uncle Vernon, and then he kind of blew her up into a balloon, and she started making ripping noises and floating away. And she got really massive. And then he just grabbed all of his items. The cupboard just magically unlocked whenever he got to it, but I think it's because he was in such a rage that it unlocked for him. And then he just packed all of his stuff. He grabbed everything from his room. His Uncle Vernon was still screaming at him, and then he just said, I've had enough, I'm out of here. So I'm just wondering at the end of this book, when it's time for him to go home, if he's gonna go home for the summer to their house, because this sounds like it just ended, because he's still a minor. He's 13. He just had his 13th birthday. Okay, so, welcome Audi. He's making biscuits on me. Okay, Harry is stranded in the Muggle world because he ran away, so I don't think that he's going back at the end of this school year. And he's just standing there thinking, where the heck am I gonna go? He went as far as he could, and then he got tired because his trunk is really heavy. So he's trying to come up with all these different plans for what he can do. And then all of a sudden, a bus appears out of nowhere called the Night Bus. It's emergency transport for the stranded witch or wizard. Is Sirius Black a vampire? Harry's looking at the Daily Prophet while he's on the night bus going somewhere. And he's looking at a picture of Sirius Black because Black is still on the run. He's yet to be recaptured. And it says Harry had never met a vampire, but he had seen pictures of them in his Defense Against the Dark Arts classes. And with the way Black looks, he looked just like one. Is Sirius Black a vampire? I completely forgot that in the second Harry Potter, The Chamber of Secrets, Hagrid was framed and he was sent to Azkaban for 2 months. And that never got resolved. I mean, they figured out the whole thing and Hagrid got out and he came back to Hogwarts and it's as if nothing happened. He was in Azkaban for 2 months. That's a big deal. I would want millions of dollars. I would want some sort of retribution for that. I forgot about that. They just brought it up. Hagrid, the Hogwarts gamekeeper, had spent 2 months in Azkaban only just last year. Oh. Do y'all remember Neville Longbottom from the first two Harry Potter books? So Harry didn't want the night bus drivers, Stan and Ernie, he didn't want them to know that he's the Harry Potter. And so when they asked what his name was, he said Neville Longbottom. And now they've taken him to London. He wanted to go to Diagon Alley, and the second he gets into Diagon Alley, Cornelius Fudge is there, and that's, head of the Ministry of Magic. And he says, "There you are, Harry." And now Stan and Ernie are just losing their minds because it's the Harry Potter. And it just... and then they're leaving. Stan and Ernie are leaving. And they're just like, "Bye, Neville." How has my husband never told me that Hermione buys a large ginger cat? He has never said that. Maybe he was waiting for me to read the books and find out. But... I know Harry has an owl. A lot of people have an owl, a lot of the students. And then Ron has Scabbers, his rat. And Hermione just bought a large ginger cat named Crookshanks. But I love a ginger cat. Hey, so it's the next day. Again, I am about to meet up with some of my girlfriends. Two of us are going to the train station near us, and then we're gonna get on a train that our other friends are on. They're coming to our station, and then we're all gonna go to Tokyo, and we're going to some sort of themed cafe. I think it might be a cat themed cafe. I don't know. I'm so excited. I can't wait. And I've already taken my Dramamine, so I'm fighting sleepiness right now, but it's fine. I'm excited to go. So I've been reading more of Harry Potter, and they're at the point where they're getting on the train. They're getting on the train to go to Hogwarts because school is starting back up. Harry was with Ron and his whole family. Well, Mr. Weasley has pulled Harry to the side, and is just begging Harry to not go looking for Sirius Black, because Sirius Black is still missing. He escaped from Azkaban, the heavily guarded prison. No one knows how he got out. It's been a month now. They still can't find him. And I don't know, Mr. Weasley, he's being so weird towards Harry, and is just trying to get Harry to promise him that Harry won't go looking for Black. And Harry just keeps saying, "No, like, I swear I'm not gonna go looking for him. What makes you think that I would do that?" And I guess Mr. Weasley is kind of alluding to the fact that Harry's always getting into some sort of mischief. And then Harry says, "But I'm not the one looking for trouble. Trouble finds me." That's such a 13-year-old answer. But I don't know. My husband has read all of these books and watched all the movies. And so I asked him, I said, "Why is Arthur Weasley being so weird towards Harry?" And he just keeps saying, "You have to read it. You have to read it." So I don't know. I would like to know more about that, but I have about half an hour. I'm gonna keep reading and then go to Tokyo, and then I'll see when I check back in with y'all. Okay, I'm about to leave and go downstairs and meet up with my neighbor so we can go to the train station. So Harry and all of his friends are on the train to get to Hogwarts, to their school, and the train stops, and then they're called Dementors, a bunch of Dementors get on the train, and those are the guards from Azkaban. They are now going to be stationed at the school. They're going to be at every entrance or exit at Hogwarts. So they get on the train, and apparently, if you're an extremely delicate person, I guess if you're fragile, if you look at a Dementor, you start to get really weak and sick, and you could possibly pass out. Well, it doesn't happen to Ron or Hermione, but Harry collapses in front of a Dementor. Like, everything gets foggy, and then he's on the ground, and everyone's screaming his name, trying to get him to wake up. And then we met a new character. There's a new teacher, Professor Lupin. He knows the remedy. I guess there's a remedy if you pass out from a Dementor. Chocolate will make you feel better. So Harry wakes up. He feels like he's got the flu, like he's coming back from being sick is how he's feeling. So he eats the chocolate and he starts feeling better. They get to the school. The nurse, Madame Pomfrey, she's here now in this book, but she's talking to Harry, asking him, "Do you want to stay the night in the hospital wing?" And Harry's just thinking, absolutely not, because the bully, Draco Malfoy, found out that Harry passed out, and Draco won't stop making fun of him for it. And when Harry walked by him, Draco goes, oh gosh, I don't feel good," and pretended to faint. So Draco's awful. I cannot stand him in any of these books. So we've got Dementors, and we've got a new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. This is the third book in the Harry Potter series, and this is the third teacher that they've had for that class, because that class just seems to be jinxed. It just never works out. But I am gonna go get on my own train and go to Tokyo, and I'll see if I update y'all anymore, or it might just be tomorrow. But I'm glad I got some reading in today. All right, bye. Hey, so it's the next day again. So I'm just sitting here reading a little bit more. I didn't get any more reading done yesterday after what I'd updated you on. We made our way into Tokyo. We went to this cute little cafe. Oh my gosh, it was so precious. I took so many photos, but then we couldn't eat there because we had too many people in our group. We had 4 people, and that was just too many, because most of the tables just seat 2 people at each one, and then they were all full, and I act like there's so many. There were maybe 8 tables total. So they said we needed to wait for a couple of tables to get up and leave before we could eat, but we were so hungry, so then we just went somewhere else after we took a lot of photos. And then we walked around, we did a little bit of shopping, and then we went to this cute little coffee shop towards the end of the day. We were in Tokyo what felt like the whole day. We were there for a while, 5 or 6 hours, I think. And we got, what did we get? Some coffee and some scones and carrot cake. I don't know. It was a really good time. But it is today now, the next day, and I'm just doing a little bit of reading. I don't have any updates at the moment. They're eating breakfast at Hogwarts. So I will update y'all as I have more to say. Okay, so Harry, Ron, Hermione, all the other students, they're in their divination class, and this is their first year to take this class. They are third-year students, but this is their first time in here, and I guess in this class you can tell the future or read the future, and it's really interesting. So they're starting with teacups, but I know eventually they'll move to palmistry and then crystal balls, but we'll see. The teacher even said that they're going to be late on starting with the crystal balls because she already knows that even though it's September right now, and February, a bout of the flu is going to take everybody out. So they're doing something with tea. They have to drink the tea, and then the dregs that are left over, they have to swirl that around 3 times in their left hand and then flip their teacup upside down onto the saucer, and then hand the teacup and saucer over to their partner, and then their partner has to read their future or what they can see. So Harry does that, and then Ron is trying to read it, and Ron is looking at his book and looking back at the teacup and thinking, I think I see an acorn. I think he's just seeing the most random things. He's not really seeing anything. But the teacher walks over and she says, oh my, let me see that teacup. So she takes it and she says, oh dear boy, Harry, it's the Grim. And I guess the Grim is a death omen. And she says, you have a very serious enemy that wants you gone. And Hermione is saying, well, duh, Harry and Voldemort, obviously. But the teacher doesn't seem to think that this might be about Voldemort. She just almost faints on a chair, and she's sitting there just saying, you have the Grim, you have the Grim. And then she tells everyone to just clean up and dismisses class and just tells Harry to be careful. So, I mean, I think we know who it is. It's Sirius Black, but Black is probably also working with Voldemort, so I don't know. That's where we are so far. Okay, so they all get out of divination class and they go to their next class with Professor McGonagall, and it's the Transfiguration class, and they're studying wizards that can turn into an animal at will, and Professor McGonagall does it. She turns into a tabby cat, and then no one cares. None of the class does anything, and then she turns back into her human form and says, look, not that it matters, but this is the first time ever that I've transformed and I didn't get any sort of round of applause. And she said, what is happening? What happened in the last class that y'all were in? And everyone just turns and stares at Harry. And she says, wait, where were y'all? And then one of the students says, oh, we were in divination class reading tea leaves. And McGonagall just looks at Harry and says, oh, so let me guess, you're the student that's gonna die this school year? And she goes, look, divination is one of the most imprecise branches of magic. And every time Professor Trelawney has I guess, a guess of who is going to die this school year. That student always lives. And she she tries to calm Harry down, but we all know, we know that Sirius Black is on the loose and wants Harry. But it was just funny the way McGonagall said it. Well, which one of you is going to die this year? Okay, I think there's a side plot going on with Hermione, and it's really cool, and I wish they would dive more into that. So they all made their schedules for what classes they're taking at their third year, or during their third year, and they're looking at Hermione's, and Hermione has so many classes on her schedule that it's just not even possible. There's not enough time in the school day to take them all. So she gets called into McGonagall's office, and I guess they work it all out, and then she leaves because we missed that scene. We don't see it. And Hermione meets back up with Ron and Harry, and they're looking at her schedule, and they said, wait, you're still taking all these classes, but it looks like you have 3 classes every hour. So how can you take a class at 9 a.m. called arithmancy when you also have divination at 9 a.m. or whatever the classes are? She has multiple classes at the same time, and she just says, I worked it out with Professor McGonagall. And so then the scene moves on. You know, that was yesterday or a couple days ago when that happened. And I've kind of been thinking about that in the back of my head. Well, then Ron had made a comment saying, how can you be in all of these classes at once if they're all taking place at the same time? And Hermione she wouldn't answer him. She just said, oh, I've worked it out with Professor McGonagall. Well, now they're all at lunch, and they finished their transfiguration class, and McGonagall was trying to tell them that you need to really not believe Professor Trelawney because it's imprecise. Divination, you don't know. You can't read the future. You don't know what's going to happen. And they're thinking, well, she knew Neville Longbottom was going to drop the teacup, and he did. Neville dropped it because she even said, before you go up there and grab that, and it shatters, please grab the blue one because I'm really fond of the pink teacups. And then sure enough, he smashes it. And so they're bringing that up at lunch. They're like, well, she knew that Neville was gonna, create that mess. So what if it's true that she really did see a Grim and that Harry really does have a death omen? And Hermione just keeps talking about her arithmancy class. I don't even know if I'm saying that correct. And her and Ron get into it, and Hermione just stalks off and says, you have no idea because this is what I learned in arithmancy. And Ron looks at Harry and says, how can she know that? She hasn't even taken that class yet today because she was with us in divination and in transfiguration. And then the scene ended. There's a gap, and it's going to the next scene, and I'm wondering, I want them to bring that up. I want to know are there multiple Hermiones now? Are we going to see that in this book? That'd be interesting. I can't stand Malfoy. He's so mean. And Hagrid is a teacher this year. It's so cute. He's teaching the Care of Magical Creatures class, and Malfoy destroyed the first lesson and I don't know, got sliced on the arm and was bleeding, and now Hagrid's possibly in trouble for going too hard on the first lesson. But it was Malfoy's fault. I can't stand that kid. I cannot stand that kid. He's awful. I love the ghosts that make appearances in all the Harry Potter books. So right now, Peeves the poltergeist he's floating upside down in front of a keyhole and stuffing it with chewing gum. Lighting in my kitchen is terrible, but I just made some lunch. I made some pasta with bell peppers, ham, chicken, some tomato basil sauce, and some farfalle noodles. And then I have a Girl Scout tag-along cookie, some chocolate peanut butter. And then my green tea and my sparkling water and regular water. Okay, so I'm reading this, and Ron and Hermione fight so much, and I don't think they get together until the 4th book. I know at some point they start dating, but oh my gosh, in this 3rd book, every chapter, every other scene, I mean, they're constantly at each other's throats. I have liked every scene with Professor Lupin. And I know he's the new teacher. He's also a new character this year in this 3rd book. And I hope he's in the rest of the series. I have really liked him. I hope he doesn't turn out to be the bad guy. I feel like every Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher something happens with them. There's a reason not to like them in the first and second book. But now this third one with this teacher, I just really like him. And I hope he continues on in the rest of the series. All right, here we go. We are 35% into this book, and Sirius Black has entered Hogwarts. Okay, every time the Dementors appear, Harry hears a screaming noise inside of his head. And this time it happened at the Quidditch match. About 100 Dementors showed up on the field. Still don't know why. Dumbledore is very upset about that. But in Harry's mind, he was hearing a woman screaming, "No, no, not Harry, not Harry, don't take Harry. Kill me instead, don't hurt him." And then someone said, "Silly girl, get out of the way." And then that was it. And then Harry fell off his broomstick and everyone thought that he had passed away. And Dumbledore saved him. And now he's in the hospital wing. But was that his mom? Is Harry hearing his mom in his head every time a Dementor is around? If anybody has finished all of the Harry Potter books, because this is not a reread for me, I've never read them before, so this is the third one. Why don't Harry and Ginny Weasley ever get together? Do they try to get together and it just doesn't work out? Or do they just never get together? Because I'm pretty sure that the series ends and he's single. I know Ron and Hermione get together, but he and Ginny would be so cute. No? Do y'all not? I just think they'd be so precious, and she's just so shy around him and she's always blushing and just, I'm so into that. I think that would be so cute. I want to know why they don't get together. Okay, yeah, so Harry can definitely hear Lord Voldemort taking out his parents anytime the Dementors are near. And now Harry's talking to Professor Lupin and asking a lot of questions about the Dementors, but here's something that I didn't know, unless I'm reading it wrong. Did the Dementors eat humans? Because the Dementors, there were about 100 of them that came to the Quidditch match, and Professor Lupin is saying that they were getting hungry and that they couldn't resist all of the people that were at the match. But he also said that their supply of human prey has dried up. Do they like feed off of emotions, or do they like literally feed on humans? I don't know, it's disgusting either way. Also, Harry's broom broke. He's had his Nimbus 2000 for all 3 books now for the last, this is his 3rd year, so I guess he's had it for 2 years going into his 3rd year, and it broke. But at the very beginning of the book though, there was like a new broom that was out. But Harry only has so much money. His parents left him a lot, but he has to get through his 7 years of Hogwarts with that money. And then I don't know about after that. I don't know if he has enough to continue sustaining him unless he gets a job. I'm not sure, but I don't know. Yeah, I want to know about the Dementors and if they feed off people or if they just feed off of their fear. And then I want to know if Harry gets the new broomstick because it seems really cool and he could win all of the Quidditch matches with it. Hey, so it's the next day again. So I have been reading. I was reading last night and then I've been reading today, and we just had a twist with who Sirius Black's really good friend was, because Sirius Black used to go to Hogwarts, so all the teachers know who he is, even though, now he's this awful, horrible, big bad wizard who is, the second in command, I guess, to Lord Voldemort. But it just told us who one of his inseparable companions was, and Professor McGonagall even said, "I don't think we've ever had such a pair of troublemakers," which you could talk about the twins, Fred and George Weasley, which is what another professor says, like, well, they're giving them a one-up. But Sirius Black and somebody else, that was a twist. Okay, so let's just keep reading and see where we go. Okay, so this isn't really an update, but I just thought it was funny. So you know how in the real world, in the Muggle world, you have, I don't know, like trained assassins, and you've got your Navy SEALs, and you have people that are snipers. Well, in the magical world, they're called hit wizards. Only hit wizards could catch Sirius Black. and I just hit wizards. Okay, there are so many side plots in this book, and for this, their third year, Hagrid has become a teacher. He is the, the care of magical creatures teacher. And all of these magical creatures, I mean, they're really cool. He calls them interesting creatures. A lot of the students call them terrifying monsters. But there is a little side plot going on with one of them involving Draco Malfoy. And I cannot stand that kid. And if what I think is going to happen does happen to one of these magical creatures, I'm going to need there to be a redemption arc. I cannot stand that kid or his father. His father is such a bully, and I need both of them to get their comeuppance. I have just read and figured out how the Dementors feed, what they feed on. So I, for some reason, was thinking that they feed on fear because everyone is so scared of them, but they feed off of your hope, your happiness, and your desire to survive. Because remember when about 100 of them stormed that Quidditch match earlier in the book? It's because there were so many students and teachers there that were just so happy about the Quidditch match. And I thought, since everyone was so afraid of them, that is how they were gonna feed. And honestly, I also wasn't sure if they were just wanting to eat them. But yeah, your hope, your happiness, and your desire to survive. The Christmas scenes at Hogwarts are always so cute, and they're just so festive. And Ron's mom, Mrs. Weasley, always hand knits a Gryffindor sweater for all of her kids, but the last couple of years she's also knitted one for Harry. So Harry and Ron just opened up their sweaters, and Ron knew it. He opened his up and said, okay, open yours, you probably got the same one. And I think that I'm a Ravenclaw, and y'all, I want a Ravenclaw sweater so bad. I've looked online, I've looked on Etsy, on Google, and they're either ridiculously expensive, the few that I found, or they just don't exist, because like I said, I've only found a few. But my husband said that we could go to, I guess, Universal Studios, which I don't know if there's one here in Japan. I think that there is. There's some sort of Harry Potter world here in Asia or in Japan. But I just really want a Ravenclaw sweater. Okay, so there is another side plot going on. There are so many. We've got Hermione somehow being in multiple classes at the same time. We've got what's going on with Hagrid and one of his magical creatures. And then now we have Professor Lupin. So there's something going on with him. He's always, I don't want to say always, but a majority of the time, he's like pale and exhausted. He doesn't dress very well. All the teachers wear robes. I mean, some of the students, but his robes are faded. There's patches all over him, or all over the robes. And they're starting to look looser on him because I guess he's losing weight. And we all know that Professor Snape wants to be the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. And this is now a few years in a row as the reader that he has been passed up every time because he's the potions teacher. But now Professor Lupin is sick again. And of course, right before he gets sick, Professor Snape brings him a goblet full of some sort of liquid that's smoking, and it's supposed to lead the reader to believe that he's poisoning Lupin, which I don't think that that's happening. But he's sick again. Snape is teaching his class and just, talking really bad about Lupin and saying that y'all are so behind. Y'all should be further in your studies. But I don't know. I still like Professor Lupin. I hope he comes out as a good character because that would be 3 for 3 on this Defense Against the Dark Arts position. I mean, in every book, that teacher has not been the greatest person. But I don't know. He's also, what I do like about him, he's teaching Harry this like anti-Dementor spell because Harry collapses or faints every time he gets within a few feet of a Dementor. So that's really sweet. And that's something that, what did he call it? It's dark magic. So he's teaching Harry as a 13-year-old dark magic and saying, look, you might not be that great at it. You're still really young. You need a lot of practice, but this will help you with overcoming getting sick every time they're near. But I really like Professor Lupin, and I hope nothing's going on with him. I don't know. There's so many side plots. So Sirius Black has made it into the Hogwarts castle again. This has happened just a couple of times because remember, all the entrances and exits are guarded by the Dementors. So Ron was asleep, and I guess all of their little beds, I don't know if it's like a dorm room, I'm not sure, but every student has their own bed, and I guess there's a little curtain that goes around their beds. Well, Ron's curtains were slashed with a knife, and he woke up because he heard something happening, and his curtains were all ripped, and he saw Sirius Black standing over him with a knife in his hand. So Ron starts screaming, Black takes off, everyone wakes up. Percy, which is Ron's oldest brother, he's head boy this year. So it's like he's the dean of the Gryffindor boys or something. But Percy comes out, he's talking to Ron. Ron is screaming that Sirius Black tried to attack him with a knife and that he did rip all of Ron's curtains that were going around his bed. Percy kept trying to say that it was just a nightmare, and Ron is dead set that that was Black. And now they're questioning Harry and Hermione, well, why didn't he kill you? But I mean, we all know that Black wants to get to Harry, but they know that Black would know that Ron and Hermione are good friends of Harry's, but I don't know, there's just a lot of questions. But Black is now back in the school. I love the magic in this book. It's so cute because everything is magical, or everything can become magical. So since Sirius Black is on the loose, once again, possibly in the Hogwarts castle, Professor Flitwick is showing all of the doors, y'all, the doors. Think of a door. He's showing every single door a large photo of Sirius Black and getting the doors to recognize what he looks like so that they don't let him through. Hermione is such a busybody. I don't know, I guess we should like her character. We're supposed to like her character. She's in all the books. I know she eventually is going to start dating Ron, but she can be so annoying sometimes, especially in this book. I don't know, I minded her in the first and second book when she was 11 and 12 years old. Now she's 13, and she's in everyone's business. And I know it could be for their own good, but girl, pick a lane. Stay in your lane, actually. Maybe don't pick a lane. But, Harry received a new broomstick for Christmas because his broomstick was destroyed. And Hermione runs and tells Professor McGonagall, without telling Harry this first, she just runs to McGonagall and says that he received a broomstick and there was no card, no note. He doesn't know who it's from. So it could be from Black, and the broomstick could be jinxed, which, okay, that is sweet. That's good intent. However, she just runs and tattles to McGonagall, and McGonagall just comes to Harry and confiscates his broom and says that they might have to put like an anti-jinxing spell on it, and they're going to need this broom. It's going to take a couple of months. They're probably going to strip it down, and this is a very expensive, brand new state-of-the-art broom. And Hermione's just standing there so happy about what she did. That's not okay. That's not okay. There's been a few instances like that. She's just driving me bananas. And then since Black is on the loose again and Harry has that Martyrs map, there's different tunnels underneath the castle, and he can go through certain tunnels and end up in other areas of Britain, like cool areas to, just do like some shopping and drink some, I don't know, butterbeer, which is the underage kids can drink that because it barely has any alcohol in it. But now Hermione's saying that if Harry continues using that map, she's going to tell a teacher and get it confiscated. And I just, go away. She's so annoying. This book, she is so frustrating to me. However, she does slap Draco Malfoy. That was a great scene. She just slapped him across the face, and he just stood there stunned and in pain. Y'all, okay, so the post office. You go there and you can mail your letters or your packages, or pick up, your letters and your packages. Well, the post office in the magical world is where you get your owls. Everyone loves going to the post office because there's all sorts of owls there. There's owls that can be used for long deliveries overseas or really far. And then there's the tiny little baby owls that just barely fit in the palm of your hand, and they're for local deliveries only. It is so cute. That was such a cute paragraph to read about. We are nearing the end of the school year, and so the Quidditch final has arrived, and the two going neck and neck, I believe, it's Gryffindor against Slytherin. I just started this, but y'all, it is so intense. They treat it like the Super Bowl. I know they did, all of them they had to play against Ravenclaw and they had to play against Hufflepuff. But yeah, it was the top two. So yeah, it's Gryffindor and Slytherin. And it's just like the Super Bowl. Reading about it is so intense. And I can already see that this is going to go on for quite a few pages. And it's making my heart race because obviously we want Gryffindor to come out on top. Harry plays for the Gryffindor team. He's their seeker. But Malfoy plays for Slytherin and he's their seeker and Malfoy plays really dirty. So let's just see how this goes. So much is happening. So much is happening right now. Y'all, we are getting just twist after twist after twist. And then you think you're going into the next chapter, which there's only 3 chapters left. And you think, oh, it's all going to be neatly tied up in a sweet little bow. And then something else happens. And then the person that I can't even say all the things. And then they get away. So much is happening. So much is happening right now. Y'all, this book was in 4-star territory. It is back up to a 5. It is so good right now. I think according to the Kindle, I think I still have an hour and a half left to read. These chapters are very long. There's 3 chapters left, but it's going to take 90 minutes. We're at 5 stars right now, and so much is going on. I cannot stand Professor Snape. He irritates me more than Hermione has been irritating me this book. I even hate Draco Malfoy, but I might hate Snape even more. He is vile. Oh, 5 stars. This is a 5-star book. Oh my gosh. If y'all have not started reading Harry Potter, I'm telling you right now, just do it. Just do it. I know it's young adult, but she's such a great author. Her writing it keeps you so interested in the story. The first and second books, I flew through those. Those were 5 stars the whole way through. This third book, it did start off a little bit slow, and I was kind of like, okay, like I'm interested, but like what is going on? There's so many side plots. There's so much with their classes. I just wanted the main plot. I wanted to know what was going on with the Prisoner of Azkaban. But then between the halfway to 75% mark, it picks up. And then from 75% to 100%, from those marks on, oh my gosh, y'all, read this book. Please read this book. I mean, you have to read them in order. Read the whole series. I am going to start the 4th one, but my husband and I are going to watch this movie tonight. I'm so excited, but oh my gosh. Thank y'all so much for coming along on this journey with me. Oh, I'm just so happy. And I'm happy that it was a 5-star, because it was just kind of in 4-star territory for a little bit. Oh, well, y'all have a good rest of your day. Bye.